But it's great to be back. It's a joy. It was tough finding your place. You're very proud of your stove. You use it in all your calls.
I don't know what other. This is a thing I've never thought of being conscious about before. Having to stand in certain parts of the house to go. Do I want that window in? Do I want? Oh, there's a freezer there. Oh, Jesus Christ! So this is the one. It's at the kitchen table is right here. So the stove. You're only saying that because Joe Caulfield commented how nice it was the other night.
Well, it was, yeah, but I've seen it a few times now. But it's good. And good, you have the fire safety blanket there. That's always important. This will be done as an audio medium, so this will all won't be worthwhile. But you could use the screen, social media, to promote it. But yeah, no, the one I've had is not. Rachel is up working upstairs in what we call the office, which is the unused spare bedroom.
Yeah. That
is converted into an office, and there's a little wardrobe. But because there's like so much bedding and mattresses kind of folded away, stuffed in, the door never properly closes. So anytime I do anything up there, people go, "Oh, you can even close the wardrobe." I'd have to pull out everything.
Is it one of those wardrobes that even if like the very thought of going at it is like, that's 45 minutes easy?
Easily, yeah. It's just big and bulky stuff. It's just like, oh, what am I doing this for? But yeah, that's not really crack, is it?
Have you? Do you know what? Straight out the gate. How's your podcast going? You're doing with the Roisin Dove at the minute.
Good. Whenever this goes out for you, we've Glen Wool tonight, which was great. We had a bit of technical problems, but I think there's loads in it. I hope the jokes aren't some very funny moments. And we've Steve Frost, which was fantastic, from the improv. Frosty. I could do 10 with Frosty, I think, because his stories are incredible. Like, he's been around comedy for 40 years, so he knows everybody. And you just kind of, I have a story, Eddie Izzard, I have a story on him. Sean Connery. A friend of Steve Frost approached Sean Connery in Edinburgh, not realising it was Sean Connery, and goes, "Frosty!" And it was Sean Connery, turns around and goes, "No, but you're the second person today who's asked me that. I need to find out who this guy is."
If you ever wanted somebody to actually call you Frosty back, no, I'm not Frosty. It's just
I'm not Frosty. Yeah. I only ever got Simon Delaney, and I don't think it was genuinely Simon Delaney. I just thought people needed just recognized the face and went, "Oh, who's he again?" And assumed I was Simon Delaney. Well, Simon Delaney got me as well. To a lesser extent, I think. You don't look like anyone, do you?
I rarely get it. No, it's the most random people will message me going, "I met this fella on holidays. He works and he sells sunglasses down at the beach. Look at him," and he'll look vaguely like me. That's what I get.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if we got super famous, then you'd find your doppelgangers. That's what you have to do, I wonder if I got really super, super famous, would Simon Delaney use me as a career, as a Karl Spain lookalike? But then he wouldn't look like me, would he? I'd have got so much work done.
Would you ever get work
I'd
done?
look like you then. No. I mean, look at the Stadeby.
You just look like a comedian, Karl. That's all.
I look like a comedian.
I do wonder about it, like because I was talking with somebody the other day and they were saying like if you would limit. I like your hair like that. It's very Beetlejuicy. That's nice.
So I've had hair extensions in the last 2 months.
Would you ever bother with the plugs? Because they sounded sore and expensive and they mightn't work. Damo Clark's ones I don't think took.
Damo always wears a hat, so. It was always, it was a weird one. I don't know. I don't care enough. I think it's for other people. Do you know what I mean? It's I was just reading an article today that they're going, oh, Beckham's got his hair transplant, hasn't taken, and it's just Beckham with short hair. He'd had a COVID cut, so he's very little hair, and you go, oh, look at him, and you go, yeah, guy's in his mid-40s, and he's still, there seems to be hair on every part of the head, whether it's transplant or whatever. But no, maybe I'd get a pair of breasts, my breasts enlarged.
That's the dream we all have, isn't it?
Yeah, or a penis reduction. That's all. That's what that.
Yeah. I was wondering when that was going to come in. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I can't ever imagine myself, because I have a cousin and he got his ears pinned back in his 20s. And because it's in his 20s, like, we took the piss out of him straight away because they didn't work. His ears basically are just, they're pinned back where he got it pinned back, but the rest is just screaming to get out. So he just has these C-shaped ears looking at you. And I was like, why? I was like, fuck it, my whole life, being called fucking Sam Maguire and whatnot. I was like, yeah, but you're that guy. Own it.
Yeah, there was a guy I knew 20 years ago who got his ears pinned back. But then every time I didn't know he got it done. I used to find it weird. You'd look at him and you couldn't see his ears. At
all.
So if you looked him face on, that guy's got no ears.
It's like a fish.
You'd see, there's girls I know, I know I'm thinking of now. I was thinking growing up, there was a girl I knew and she had odd ears. I mean, she was a very attractive girl, but you'd rarely see it. Sometimes her hair would go back and you go, oh, Jesus, yeah. But she had her hair done like that.
Right.
To hide her ear. But I mean, I'd stay going, oh, she's a lovely girl. I don't think it would have bothered me. Maybe she's looking for a higher standard. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if you damaged your face and for some accident, I'd get, plastic surgery then is totally. But if someone wants to do it, do it. But when people do too much, I always feel that's it. You see Hollywood stars in their 70s, and it's just, yeah, it's great. This new film, this new film set in the 18th century, and you go, really? I was proud of Paul McCartney when he just stopped dyeing his hair. I was thinking, come on, he just let himself go grey.
Like Marty Whelan.
That was like Marty Whelan. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Is there a break? How's the line? Is it all right?
It seems all right. Yeah. But Paul McCartney I was talking about, and you just said like Marty Whelan. I
said just like Marty Whelan. Yeah. I mean, they're kindred spirits.
Oh, right. I didn't know. Did Marty just stop dyeing his hair? I don't know.
Yeah.
But with your facial hair, again, this will be lost in the audio. It looks like you're dyeing your moustache and letting the beard go grey.
This is the weirdest thing. The amount of people that have asked me over the last 2 weeks, was I dyeing like the bottom half of my moustache? Like in the heights of a pandemic, this is the thing I find the time to do. Like, is to fucking dye my moustache. Yes, of course I am. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a beard. My beard goes grey now. It's gradually going greyer. I go grey at the sides, but every time there's bits of grey hairs there, you probably can see them. But every time I get a haircut, they disappear. And that's been the case for, I'd say, 10 years.
That's normally what happens in a haircut, Karl. The hair goes away.
It's gone grey for 10 years. It hasn't really spread to the rest of the head.
Oh.
I mean, so I've had grey hairs, and then get a haircut to disappear, and I keep thinking, oh, this is the start of it now. But the beard has gone very grey. So when I had the beard last week, I looked like Saul Berenson from Homeland. I was out for a walk, and I even felt I'm taking on the Saul Berenson walk.
Yeah. You finding yourself just wanting to get involved in politics and just make calls to fucking Israelis and whatnot.
Yeah. I've been trying to make Rachel dye her hair blonde and embrace her mental illness. We could go around as Homeland.
To anybody who hasn't seen Homeland, that's exactly what it is. It's essentially just an older Jewish dude asking his employee to fucking embrace her mental illness.
Well, she's blonde hair. She's bipolar or whatever she has. I miss it. I watched it. Did you watch it? Are you a fan? No?
Oh, yeah. The last episode does not disappoint.
No, I thought it was an excellent ending. I really did. I thought it was. I thought I was all prepared to be disappointed. I remember Lost being a huge disappointment.
The problem with Lost for me was I was about a season in, and I was late to the game, and people had said exactly that. They were like, "Oh, it's such a disappointment," and that just took the wind out of my fucking sails when I can't continue on with this farce.
Yeah, I used to describe it as like a relationship when you're younger, Lost, because it started. Oh, it's all exciting, it's sexy, What about the polar bears? Shh, don't ask questions about things you don't. And then it ends vicious when you go, oh my God, I've just wasted the last 5 years of my life on that.
Did the big lad ever lose any weight at all? That was troubling.
Yeah, that was a weird one, wasn't it? If it had been a genuine plane crash, I think they'd have been looking at him after a few weeks going, hey, anyone remember that? Yeah, that Uruguayan rugby team?
My first thoughts as well.
He could, if we had refrigeration, he could save us.
Have you been binge watching much?
Yeah, but I always did. I'm watching a little bit more. I'm going back through stuff I taped in the past and finding stuff like, wow, old comedy programs and stuff I've taped and might have never watched. I kind of archive everything. But I watched Sneaky Pete, which I don't know if you've seen.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah.
Really good, pleasant surprise. That was a great, amazing cast in that actually, and loads of people that appear in other things. I always find that funny.
Yeah.
When you see an actor, you go, "Oh yeah, she's in The Americans," and "Oh, so is she." Oh, there's two cast from The Americans. And I always feel there's no scenes together. Well, there's one scene together, but you could feel that you could just edit an episode of another show and then drop in a scene from that.
Yeah.
Just confuse everyone totally. Go, what? What's happening there? If you take actors from other shows and just put them in.
I know. I recently watched one called Black Death. I didn't realize it was out like 2010 or whatever, and it's Sean Bean is in it, playing Sean Bean. Only slightly angrier and a bit, sullen or whatever. And at least 8 other people from Game of Thrones are in it as well. And it's like, oh, this must be in the down season. You got this gig because it looks like it was all filmed in Ireland as well.
All right. Well, it could have been just when you have a day off there. Do you want to come film some of this?
Yeah.
Could have been the same producers. With Sean Bean, I always wonder, is he ever introduced, on a chat show, Mr. Bean?
But he's so dry, like there's no crack out of that. I've seen him interviewed.
I've heard he's not. I've heard he's a terrible person. I've heard,
Coming up next week's podcast, gang, it's
Sean Bean gets to answer back. No, I've heard from people who met him and knew him that he wasn't fun. So I could be wrong. You never know. Shouldn't believe all the gossip.
I know you shouldn't believe it about me or Karl either. We're not that nice all the time either.
We're not even friends. I only agreed to do this because we wouldn't have to meet.
Just through your letterbox. Please talk to me, Karl.
Yeah.
Did you
what
see
are you missing most? What are you missing most about this?
Gigging obviously, and just a social hangout, especially getting to the Roisin early with the likes of you and stuff, and just the piss taking. I didn't think you don't register that stuff, because it's just part and parcel, But and then little things are gnawing at me, like the Chicken Hut. I don't follow the Chicken Hut online, but the Chicken Hut put up just an array of stuff on. For anybody who hasn't never been to Limerick, go to Limerick, go to the Chicken Hut. But they put up an array of stuff on a table in the Chicken Hut, just somebody dipping into the gravy sauce with a chip, and it's just as missing you across the bottom. And then genuinely, I got a pang of sadness that I can't. It's like I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't purposely get in the car and drive down to Limerick and go there. But it's almost like somebody telling you you're never allowed to go to Guam. I don't ever want to be told I'm never allowed to go to Guam. So it's little the things that I didn't think I'd miss because you don't register them because they come so easily. The banter is the big one for me. That's half the crack of doing comedy. It's nearly like the crack is good and then you got to go up and do a bit and then come back down to the piss taking again.
Yeah, I miss that when I go into like the coffee shop or places. Sometimes when there's a load of them. Like people go, oh, when you go into a restaurant or a cafe and you go, oh, sit wherever you want. And I always go, okay, move those people. I want to sit there. And there's lots of moments like that, and just love the reaction of the yeah, and the place I go in regularly, where the staff that know me, I could just have so much fun with them, and just, it's annoying. It's just that thing of God. It's such a simple thing, you know. I remember the first time I did one of these, the euphoria. It was literally, that was the word. After chatting to people, you know, and I was going, this is weird. I was like, oh, I really have been missing it.
Yeah.
You know, that was when I realized that you just didn't, you know, you're getting through the days, you're doing whatever, and it's then suddenly, oh. But yeah, it's been yeah, it's the never ending. I think initially when it started, they were going, oh no, this will be 3 weeks, and I was negative from the start. I was thinking, I was there to people, no, I know it was only cancelled yesterday, but I was like, Electric Picnic's gone, Cat Laughs is gone. And people go, no, this isn't. I was like, it is, they're gone. You know, I got tickets for the European Championship semi-finals and final in London. And as soon as I knew I had the tickets, I went, that's going to be cancelled as well. I was kind of, there was a pessimism that took, I was like, oh, it'll be September, I was thinking, before we're back. No, pubs will be open in August. I think that will be some bit of normality, but I don't know what kind of gigs we'll have. You know, I think the comedy business is going to be very much like this for the next while. Here, Tom, can I Zoom you and tell you some jokes?
I know. It's funny you say that euphoria. I got it. I'd done a couple of these and didn't get, they were grand or whatever, you know, didn't get the buzz out of it. But I did a live ramble pod on a thing called Get Vocal. And basically people can join. They can jump on, like it's a 4-way screen, and people can jump on and you can have the banter with them. And it was the piss taking and banter and rip that was going on. And it was only like 45 minutes. But it was only, I was like, oh, that's what I missed. I missed that. Oh, Christ. And I don't know if that makes me, I don't know, an attention whore or what it is. But I must be some bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, when we did that play, Panto, when we did that play together, Panto, but you know, we'd sit and chat in the dressing room, but we'd go and chat to, you know, the kids that were performing. We'd go chat to all the other, you know, there was no sitting around. Yeah. You know, we're both similar in that we're sociable people, so we go chat, you know, to everybody, have a bit of crack, you know, teasing the kids. I still remember the little kid, I said, I heard you've been selling cigarettes to all the other girls, just stop that. And she was outraged. And it was like, I kept saying, you stopped selling the cigarettes. And after about a week, her mother came in, thought it was the funniest thing ever. Yeah. And then I realized her mother, it was Gay Byrne's granddaughter, was the one who was taking the piss out of her. And she's talking to me, and I'm going, I do recognize this woman from somewhere. And then she said, oh, I told himself, he thinks it's hilarious. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then I went, I know who this is. And it hit me. I was like going, oh my God. If that could have gone so horribly wrong. You know, accusing the poor girl of selling cigarettes to the cast. This poor 8-year-old, 10-year-old she was.
That's
ringing up.
It's funny though who's able for the banter, who's not though. Like, that was an 8-year-old child, and you know, she related back to her mother or whatever, and the mother found it fucking hilarious, even secondhand. But as we found, like in the panto environment, like there's some people who are just so in the zone of what they do that they definitely don't have your gene anyway. That's for sure. Of the piss taken.
Yeah, there was moments when you go afterwards going, oh, Karl, you shouldn't have said that. But I think I built up a lot of goodwill with giving people lifts.
That's your currency.
Hey, I'll get you stuff from the shop. No, it's when Robert pulled me aside for being homophobic, which I didn't think I was. Do you remember that incident?
Oh my God, yes.
When our lead character forgot when I said, see, that's why gay people shouldn't be allowed married. And I meant it, you know, as a throwaway. And then I thought Robert was taking the piss afterwards. And actually, when I said it, I went to apologize. Said he was fine. John was fine. Said, "Oh, geez, don't worry about it. No, I knew you were joking." But apparently, it showed on his face when I said it. But yeah, it was a different environment. Whereas in the stand-up world, that would have even probably passed without comment.
To be fair, that was pretty good too. It probably would have gotten a round of applause. That was pretty good, you know.
Yeah. But the stuff I loved was the stagehands.
Oh yeah, they were brilliant. Like the game shows they used to create in the wings with a full house of 1,000 people, like, and they're creating game shows as we're coming in and out of the wings.
The opening of Act 2, when I have to open the paper, they used to stick in stuff. Nothing too bad, in fairness, but I'd open the paper and I'd go, oh. But the day they got me was the time. Do you remember? I don't know if you probably saw it afterwards. They had the giant cardboard box. And because we had the faces of previous people who've been in the Panto, like Keith Tuffy and Twink and Kamal, they cut holes, and someone had got into the box upside down and started popping up. And written on the side of the box was "Whack a Twink." So in the thing, it's because I was meant to bring a sweeping brush to the side and just put it off. But every day I just throw it into the sides. I wouldn't aim to hit anyone, obviously. So they said, "All right, you're going to do that? Yeah, well, let's just..." And every day they'd have something for me. But that day I lost it. So I come back and you're on the stage and Avian Garrity's on the stage and it's my line, whatever. Avian says something and it's my line. I'm like, and she could see I was gone. Because I tried to make her laugh every day and she'd smile sometimes, but she'd always hold it together. And she could see I was gone and she just, I could see her loving it. And you were just there going, "Oh, he's gone. But in fairness, the audience laughed at it, which kind of relaxed me, got me back together. But because I thought if they went, "Oh," I thought, "Oh, I'm dead here. I'm dead."
I suppose that's the beauty of a thing like that, isn't it? Didn't we crack each other over the heads with spoons as well? That got fairly violent.
That was the scene. Well, it was meant to be me meant to hit you with that old spoon trick in the mouth, and Avian was hitting me. So she's meant to be miming it, but I don't think it was that day. But one day she hit me, and I went, because I meant to go "ow" on the right moment, and that day I went, "Ow, really ow."
But to be fair, you could hear the clack off your head to the entire auditorium, like.
Yeah, because there's nothing in there. There's a big echo. That was the great fun for me in the Pantos, when you do something slightly different every day or have a bit of fun. When I did it the following year, the Travelling Panto, there was a scene with a lip sync battle, and it's meant to be, I'm meant to go chicken noises with to get the girl playing my wife to do a lip sync battle with me. And one day I kind of peck her some days. I'd be kind of bumping off, and she said I was always ready for it. You could see her laughing some days wouldn't. But one day I just went up to her and went, "Chicken noises, chicken noises."
You said the words "chicken noises."
Yeah, literally what was on the script. And the funny thing was, Adam Weaver, who was the beast in that year, his friends were all actors, and they lost it. They just lost it. So I could hear people really laughing, but it was actors, and they said afterwards, "That was so great. Literally an actor not giving a fuck." And I went, "Uh-oh, that's not entirely the truth." I would still like to contend that I was being professional in my performance. But yeah, I used to rub Adam's face and stuff, when I was doing it, because I'd done the identical scene in Limerick, when you'd be on the other side with Leanne, and then she was changing into the dress. So I'd be on the other side with the Beast. But I'd just rub his face or just squeeze the back, something different, tickle his chin. And there was days, because he's wearing the mask, he's okay, and he doesn't have but I got him a couple of times where he's like, you just see the mask shaking. But there was the shows. There was such great fun. Those I hope we've Pantos in December, even though I won't be going.
You might be. Have you any hand in writing one this year?
I don't know yet, actually. You know, I've written a few as well, yeah, for the Olympia, which is great fun. The best part about that is I was in watching it, and it's kind of like, I think I went in late, towards the end in January, and I'm watching, I started roaring laughing at a joke, and I went, I wrote that. I've forgotten it. Anyway, I know that sounds so arrogant in a way, but I was like, oh, that's a great gag. And I went, no wonder I like it. It was just in the, you know, you do it like 6 weeks, whatever, earlier, you go, oh, say that. And you go, oh, yeah, it's funny, that'll work. And then 6 weeks later, you hear it on the stage and you're like, oh, that's good. Oh, God. That's, I caught myself going, that's a bit much. God, that's so funny. Oh, yeah, I wrote that.
Hey, do you think Phil Collins doesn't still think of, listen to his music, go, that was fucking class. I love that bit.
You probably don't. What a drum roll. What a drum roll there, man. What a drum roll. The funny thing is, I live across the road from Phil Collins. A man called Philip Collins. Seriously. I know, well, he's one of the neighbours I chat to. We kind of sat, I knew his daughter growing up, and she was telling us, oh, her father's Philip Collins, and we were laughing. But Philip Collins went to school with Michael Jackson and Tom Jones. Seriously, no one knows that about Limerick.
Can you imagine? You imagine Michael Jackson with a Limerick accent, just.
It's just another part of me. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. Do you know what I mean?
That might be our new. That has to be a new character going forward, Karl. Just different famous people who happen to be actually from Limerick.
Yeah, there's we did have Richard Harris is a statue. All the statues in Limerick don't really look like the people. Like, you probably have you seen the Richard Harris one? It's him dressed as a king holding a sword wrong. He's holding it up. He's holding it by the blade, but holding it up. The Terry Wogan one looks like Nick Cave.
He does look like Nick Cave.
It's the weirdest. You know, there's some weird. It's a weird thing. You know, the Limerick statue thing. I think they all seem to be done in a rush somehow at different times. You know that.
Even I remember
was disappointing. Yeah.
Even I remember I put up a picture of the Richard Harris one, just quite literally written underneath was, I'm not sure, but I think you're doing it wrong. And the amount of people from Limerick were like, I know, for fuck's sake, like.
Yeah.
Would you not get an angle grinder and just spin the hand around or do something, like, you know?
And the danger is if someone vandalized it, people would just think it's Luke Kelly.
It's true. I wonder who like, you've seen the sketch where your man James Corden was making a statue for Beckham, and it looked nothing like him. But it looked just as shit as those other ones that you're talking about, like. And Beckham was like, "Oh, jeez!" It was a candid camera moment where.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was just shit enough, but kind of all right enough that Beckham could have gone, jeez, don't know about that. Like, it wasn't bad enough to make him laugh. He just thought, fuck. But you see, of course, Harris and
I saw that footage and just thought, God, Beckham's a better actor than I thought.
Yeah. They did stick him in. He became friends with Guy Ritchie. That's the thing. If you become friends with Guy Ritchie, he'll stick you in his movies. Did you see Beckham in Robin Hood?
Arthur. Was it King Arthur? Arthur or something. I saw a clip or still of it. I didn't see the movie. No, I heard it's not a great movie. It's a bit hit and miss, Guy Ritchie, you know.
He's like, I'm trying to think of somebody who had one amazing album and then just tried to peddle that album on top of all of it. Like, it's the Arthur thing is essentially Game of Thrones.
Terence Trent D'Arby.
Say again?
Terence Trent D'Arby.
Who's Terence Trent D'Arby?
Oh my! What do you mean? Who's Terence Trent D'Arby?
I don't know.
In 1987, Terence Trent D'Arby had the album Introducing the Hardline According to, Terence Trent D'Arby. It was a massive album. And then I think his second album was the most disappointing second album because of sales. Like anticipated sales against actual sales were just like, because the first album sold millions.
Why would the second one do so bad? Like, would people not go buy it? Or I would imagine if it was shit, the third one would have done bad.
Well, the second, no, but like people listen to the singles or listening to whatever and just going, nah, you know, not really feeling it. But his first album, I wish he'd just repeated this is a weird foxhole we've gone down here. But you'll get a shotgun into it now to get us out fairly quickly. But Terence Trent D'Arby, it was literally the album that had this, these are useless facts, I remember. The other one was Arcadia, who you probably haven't heard of, but Arcadia,
I have.
Spin-off of Duran Duran. But their sales were disappointing. I think they had one or two singles that were reasonable hits, but the album, nothing. Like, you know.
Because you're big into your music, though, aren't you? Have you watched the Netflix special with Duran Duran? It's actually pretty tasty, and those lads have gotten some good quality plastic surgery. Every one of them, like, you know, the ones you can tell their plastic surgery is so good that you're going, is that amazing genetics? No,
but I haven't seen the thing. I would imagine John Taylor didn't. He was just too handsome anyway. You know, basically, too good looking. But anyone else in the band, I would accept there's possibility that they've had work done.
I think Taylor, he looks like his jaw is still too good for a man of his age, if you know what I mean. It's like fucking, you could put a set square underneath there. It's immaculate. And they've all gotten a little touch done. But I think Taylor definitely got a snip around the jaw, I'd say. But it's a great for even, I didn't know I knew where they were and where they ended up, but I didn't know the bits in between. And it was just lovely and punchy. It's maybe about an hour and a half long, if even that. But you'd really enjoy it.
I wonder, is it a new Netflix one? I've seen some BBC ones. There was a kind of a few out a couple of years ago. So yeah, I know the story, Tom. I don't need to.
You're still going to watch it, though. You're still going to watch it.
Yeah.
Record it and archive it and put it away and come back to it in the next fucking pandemic.
But yeah, I like watching the thing when that's the great thing about Netflix or Amazon Prime is the next episode just runs on. I feel like you're watching a 40-hour film. Especially like, if you discover a series like Sneaky Pete, which is 30 episodes, you just go, oh, I'm going to finish this week. Like, I'm on to season 3 already.
I think we'll have exhausted all of our bullshitty kind of, bullshit is the wrong word, but like our extracurricular fuzzy stuff, like in between. Are you just, as soon as they properly drop the gates and go, are you just going to fucking gig 7 nights a week or stay, you know what I mean? Like, because I just want to fucking run out.
I think I'll spend, if we were told it's over, it's all clear, we're all right. I think I'd be out of the house a lot more. Yeah, I would have beforehand. But I used to love days like this, a day or two when you just, stay at home. You don't really have to pop out. Like, I'd pop out for like my lunch or something like that. That's the weird thing, is having 3 meals a day at home. That's unheard of in this house. Like, sometimes I'd go, I haven't had breakfast. Do you know what? I'll have an early lunch. And they'll even say to me in the coffee shop, going, oh, you're in early. And I go, yeah, well, so what? You're getting my money quicker, aren't you?
What's your go-to thing driving then? So are you a podcast man or tunes?
I more football podcasts would be what I'd listen to. And I've stopped listening to them now. I've listened to maybe 2 in the last couple of months. I'm just, well, obviously there's no football on. And they're still good. The ones I've listened to have been very good. But I'm not in the car. I'm just the car. The only realization I had the car was we had a power cut one morning for about half an hour. I actually woke Rachel up to make sure she was awake for the power cut. But I realized my phone wasn't charged. And I went, oh, what happened? Oh, what happened there? And then I realized, I have the car. I can charge it in the car. if we've no power for whatever length of time. And that's what I was thinking. Oh, thank God I have a car. So I was thinking my car was basically a mobile phone or iPad charger till I could use for the next while. If we didn't get the power back, then we got the power back. I went, oh, it's back. And she went, can I go back to sleep now?
How does a fella from Limerick become a huge football fan and avoid rugby?
It just, well, my family, my father was a referee, association football referee, soccer, and we were all mad about it in the house. I played a little bit of rugby. The slightly embarrassing story was I went out training with Bohemians. My cousins had played a little bit. My uncle played with Bohemians in Limerick. UL Bows there now, and I was out training one day and I learnt about the handoff rule.
Right.
And I was like, you've all seen that. That boy has punched me in the face. I went, no, it was a handoff. Well, you're allowed to do that? And they were like, yeah. I says, well, I think rugby's not for me. Not the face. But, I loved, we played it in the back garden and stuff like that, with different rules sometimes. We had a big back garden growing up, and we had goalposts in the back garden, soccer goalposts, metal goalposts. So like the whole road would be in our back garden playing football when we were kids. And the match continued until my brother's team won.
Yeah, because I remember. I remember going, as you mentioned him earlier, John. He was the lead the year we were in the Panto, and this will tell you my naivety of things and not knowing about anything artistic or whatever. And I remember he was sitting beside me, and I hadn't actually spoken to him. We were maybe rehearsing maybe 2 days, and I hadn't spoken to the man at all. I'd only seen him in actor beast form. He was like, hello, he came in, and he was sitting down beside me on the ground with our backs to the wall. And I knew he was originally from Limerick, and I was looking at the size of the man's calves. Like, his calves were colossal, and he was built like a god. Like, he was 6 foot and unbelievable frame. And I said it to him, because Limerick, is it, John? He goes, oh, geez, shape you're in, man. You must have played a lot of fucking rugby back in the day. And I swear to God, without even thinking, like, stop it, Richard. It's all the dancing. I'm like, what? Opened my mind from a whole different way. I was like, all right. I had no idea you could end up being quite well built as a result of dancing.
The great thing about the Pantos, I thought, was you'd hear stories about the nightmare participants from previous years. Legendary stories of going, you're not going to believe. And I'm going, oh my God. And I was kind of half prepared that someone's going to be this. And I was so relieved in the Pantos I worked in that everyone, maybe we were the ones.
That's exactly what I was thinking. The common denominator being that we were in them.
Yeah, well, if it's not them, it must be you. But I genuinely, I loved the crack and the hanging out bits. Some of the rehearsals could be a bit tedious. All right, you go on. Especially when the year I didn't do it with you. The second year, I'm literally playing the same part. Some of the scenes are identical, and they're like going, oh, I know the words, and it's like going. So I found those days dragged a bit, but there was just beautiful people. Like, I'll still, on social media, I was passing a comment from Damo, Dougie. Well, what a great crack. I would say the second year was better than the first.
Of course you would. Of course you would. You're only finding your feet in the second year anyway. Jesus Christ.
The whole experience was great. I was kind of with a weird thing of last year going, God, it's weird. I'm not doing one. And I didn't miss it, but I was there going, oh, I wonder would I miss, if I'd done it, would I be going, I'm glad I did it. But I was, I suppose it's nice to take a year or two off, or next 10 years off.
But you've written, like, in the fact that you've written some, did you take massive pride in it when that joke cracked you up that time? Or were you just
I did. I think the great thing about, like, I've written for other comedians, so I've written material and put jokes in other people's set. So I love that moment. So it's not just me laughing. That was weird when it was me laughing, but sometimes I've heard laugh and I go, I just go in my head, that's my laugh. That's mine. I'm not getting the money from it, but I get a great satisfaction from that moment of, yeah, I made that laugh happen. I remember one of the, like in the early days, I'd suggest a line to someone. So when I was starting out and I go, oh, I like that bit you do. Would you not say that? And they go, oh, yeah, yeah. And they'd use it. But the funny one was, I remember seeing Keith Farnan in The Cellar. And I said to him, I really like that joke you do. And he goes, yeah, because you gave it to me 6 months ago. And I was like, oh, but of course you're going to like the way your mind works. Do you know what I mean? So, it's not really self-complimenting or whatever. It's just, I appreciate that, but that's because you work like that. So sometimes, like, the comics, the one that I think is brilliant, and the reason I think he's brilliant was Chris Kent. And Chris Kent makes me laugh so much. I always go, every time I watch Chris Kent, I go, everything he's saying, I would have dismissed, and he's making me howl with laughter with stuff I would have gone, it's not funny, but because he's making it funny, there's the genius in it.
Yeah.
And I always find it amazing. I'll see him and he'll say something and I'm going, I would never get a laugh out of that, and not even if I try to deliver it like him. If I try, I think if actually, even though I know some of his material has been stolen, but the point is, I would think he's the one I could never steal from Chris Kent. I just go, you go, what are you saying? But I think there's something, the magic in that, in his writing and in his performance, that just makes me laugh. And I go, it's so unique to him. And I think that's a great thing when a comedian finds their own voice and their own angle. I think I don't know if he ever used them. maybe I'm just laughing at myself the whole time. Oh, he's really funny. Yeah.
Well, I suppose it is it's the secret, I suppose, isn't it? If you're willing to lean so heavily into it, like Chris does, like he could be talking about peeling carrots and he'll find something in that and you'll nearly go, and then the smile starts to come on your face. You're like, well, clearly it's fucking funny. Yeah. How did I not notice that was funny before? It's not like a punch to the chin kind of funny. It's that, oh, you cute bastard, because he's leaning into it. And that's nearly that's what an audience, I've found, and I suppose been studying and watching and, and all the rest. So I realized that, if the comedian completely sells it to you and believes it, but you know what? It's probably pretty good.
Yeah, the comics I loved watching. When I started, I'd watch everybody. Now I find it hard. I can't shut up is one of the problems. If I'm watching someone doing a gig, I'll be at the back. There'll be a little bit of here's another comment on that. But I used to love watching gags. So like a Milton Jones, Gary Delaney, Tim Vine, these clever gags, one-liners, gags that you could take and go, tell your friends, not necessarily doing another show. But I used to love watching those guys. And I saw Billy Connolly when I was younger, which was, amazing beyond. Never laughed so much again in my life, actually. I genuinely, the only time I remember my face hurting from laughter was at the Billy Connolly gig. But I know more now. I wouldn't laugh as much. I'm too bitter. But we're back to writing stuff. I used to find it a great challenge, a great thing to, give a joke to a different style of comic. So if someone is extremely camp and high energy, you go, right, what joke would work for them? I've ad-lib jokes on stage that I've thought, that's not mine. I'm going to give that works better for that person. I remember I wrote for the IFTAs, and I can't remember the correct wording of the joke, but I wrote a joke about cardboard gangsters. So Siobhan John Connors, the Traveller actor, and the joke was, the Cardboard Gangsters was made for very little money, but he did insist on having his own trailer. And
Who was the host that was going to have to deliver that?
Deirdre O'Kane delivered it. But the best thing was the camera was on him, and he roared laughing like you just did.
Brilliant.
And I was going, there. That's like it's like a gentle roast. It's it's little things, but it was such a lovely thing that you're going, because I'm watching going, please don't do a scowl or going, what the fuck, And he just laughed, and I was like, perfect. The intent was to make him laugh, And the other one, I don't know if it made the thing, was Amy Huberman, the green light of Irish entertainment, which I thought was great. Like Amy could literally, I think, it's one of those like, Amy, I'm thinking I want to present the Sunday game. Okay, yeah, we get more women watching. You know anything about you? It's not important, Amy.
It's almost
they're great. They're, in the moment, you'd be there in the night and sometimes trying to come up with another joke of what's happened or what's been said by people presenting or accepting. There was some lovely moments in that. The weird thing is you're there with the guy doing the auto cue, Red Dog, and there's like 4 of us in the tiny hour, but the amount of people that came off the wrong way, which was so. And Andrew Scott, he went, oh, I've come the wrong way. I went off and just, oh, I've met Andrew Scott now, or that big guy from Vikings who went on to be in Taken, the TV series, playing the Liam Neeson type character.
Oh,
he's literally one of the most handsome men you'll ever see, But yeah, he said, that was funny, he said the IFTAs. He didn't call them the IFTAs.
That makes it sound much more agricultural, doesn't it? Like,
yeah, and then we said, Deirdre goes, oh, the IFTAs are flying off the shelves. The whole room laughs. I don't know if but even if there's sometimes you have to think, oh, I might upset someone. You go, oh, fuck it, in the room. There's well,
he's not a comic. He's never going to use it for comedic purposes.
No, but it's not. It was just a slight. He's American or wherever he's from. He's not. The IFTAs. They're the IFTAs. I think it just as easy to say the BAFTAs in England. It's an honest mistake. It's not. Doesn't mean he's stupid. Do you know what I mean? But you're still thinking they're taking the piss out of me. But no, it was all done in fun and hopefully received as such.
Have you ever? Because on that particular night, we'll say in a situation like that, at least you Deirdre to deliver it. Because if I write something for Deirdre, she'll be grand. She'll deliver it well. Mm-hmm. Have you ever written something or gone? Because I know for a fact you must have looked at Irish shows and gone, would you just fucking ring me and stop with these terrible, shitty jokes?
Oh, I used to get so annoyed watching different programs. I like certain programs go out and I go, oh, Jesus Christ, you filmed the first draft of this, did you? And that can be a frustration. I get annoyed. Sometimes I'd stop watching programs because what are you doing? The one Brendan O'Connor used to do, I don't know, did he write them himself? When he used to do the little monologue at the start every week.
He didn't write them himself.
I was like, you didn't write them before. I was like, how did these make it past the edit? Like, it was the lack of, we all written bad jokes or just for our own, but it's the lack of quality control that used to annoy me. Sometimes you'd be filming something or doing something.
What I heard from a reliable source that in that particular instance, the jokes were written and they would come back going, okay, so there's 10 lines there. Can you get the same humor? We'll get it down into maybe 4 lines because, Brendan's not a comedian,
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I can't. Well, you're going to have to do something because he ain't reading 10 lines.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, right, okay. And then, so it would just this bastardized version of what they originally planned would go to air.
Well, yeah, the one that happened to me like that I didn't record then was about 10 years ago. There was a show and they wanted me to write a comedy piece on how it's a man's right to watch football in the pub. And I went, well, I prefer to watch it at home. And I don't drink. And I said, I can write something about how football is my religion. I used to have this argument when I lived with girls in college. Why do you need to watch Coronation Street, the Champions League? It's where I worship. It's like my religion. There's songs, So I was thinking of making this work. And the opening bit was of it sometimes you need to get out of the house and you pour milk down the sink, and it's like, darling, we need milk, and you'll often see men crying in a garage forecourt before they go home, but they just need to get out. That kind of was the opening bit, and it's just about men need to be out sometimes just to get away from responsibilities, in their own little space. And I've written the thing, I've written out, it was okay. I wasn't entirely chuffed with it. I said, this will actually do. This is good. Good is all it was, right? But I sent it to them, and then they sent me back. They changed everything. So they reworded everything. They'd missed jokes. They'd done half a joke. They'd done like a line that was a setup and then not the punchline. So it made no sense. But the perfect example at the start opens with Karl pouring milk down the sink. Sometimes I just get out of the house. And I'm like going, but this isn't the most common, milk down the sink is a kind of, no, I was kind of saying it as a joke, that you pour milk. I don't know if anyone's ever done that, if it's a thing. It was just, it literally made no sense. So it's like, sometimes you need to get out of the house. Well, why are you pouring milk down this? All I could think was the initial thing, you're just going to confuse everybody with the first thing. And then you watch and going, the person sending it back to me, all they were thinking about was, I need visuals. So they were going to be doing the milk going down the sink, and they were putting all this into it. I'm going, you're just not getting anything I've done. And I just went, I just never replied and never heard from them again. But some of the stuff I saw on that, I don't want to say what show it was, some of the stuff I saw on that show from colleagues of ours was horrific. Like, I'm just going, what are you doing? Like, guys running up a couple of steps, then coming down a couple of steps and saying a line and going, why did they go up the steps? It's obviously someone said, just go up and then come down. And it's like, and that's what used to infuriate me. Like, I'd be going, what the fuck are you doing? And yeah, I used to get annoyed sometimes because I did TV production in college, and we used to make funny things with college cameras and, editing and stuff. We could make, and I'm going, if we could do it in college, and I had no experience, before I was a comedian, now I was a funny guy, but if you could do it then, why can't teams of people, in national broadcasters, maybe that's who I'm talking about, with access to everything you could possibly want, not do it. Now, a lot of them do, but like some of the stuff I'd see and gone, no, that was so terrible.
Sure, come here. We did a thing years ago called the New Comedy Awards. I think we probably talked about it or whatever. And for some reason, they put it out to tender, and they hired in a crowd who had made a couple of music videos, and they brought in like fucking cameras on tracks. They brought in cameras on booms. And you're like, what do we need? Have a 3-camera setup, and then have one or two in the audience. And still to this day, like, I remember getting to the final, and I think I don't know, did they put my final clip up or did they put the heat or whatever? But there's no laughter. They forgot to mic the audience. So it's actually like stand-up is now on Zoom, essentially. It looks like
2013, I think one of the comedians who they show him on stage and then they cut to the audience, and he's in the audience from another night. So the same comedian is on stage and in the audience. When I did it in 2000, they didn't mic the audience, and some of the comedians did okay, some didn't do great. So the ones that did well, which was me as a winner, my joke, because I'm getting a big laugh in Vicar Street, I'm pausing. So even on the TV, when I'm doing a joke, it looks like so because I was doing well, it looked like I was kind of going, God, that guy's taking ages to think of his jokes every 5 minutes. The other thing was Ed Byrne was the host that night, and Ed was one of the best gigs I was ever at certainly for the first 10 years of my life. Just destroyed the place, like absolutely. We're all there going, oh, look at us, we're doing well. Ed went, yeah, lads, you play 5-a-side, I'm Maradona. Do you know what I mean? It was that kind of, just annihilated the place. But they only showed the bit at the start where he's doing a bit of MC work. Oh, how you getting on, blah, 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 with no audience sound. So it made Ed look like he died in his arse. They had, a great comic doing an amazing set. And they put out they literally, if you're trying to sabotage him, that's what you do, But it was like, oh yeah, she will just use that bit. Yeah, there he is. Right, there's the bit saying stuff. But yeah, that was my first experience with television.
And they learned nothing from that. Then in 2013, they did the same thing. But moving on nicely, nice segue into your latest bit of TV show. That one came out pretty well, didn't it? Laughter in the Air.
It did. I was delighted with it, actually. Yeah, I wasn't meant to be presenting it. Anna Clifford was a great choice, and there was someone else earmarked, and then they couldn't do it. And I was like, we're thinking, who else? And I was like, the classic, not realizing, Karl, you have a career here. So it's like, and then someone, will you just do it? And went, okay. I was like, oh, I hadn't really thought. I thought it should be too young, youngish anyway, bright, new happy faces. So Anna beside me made me look like some Russian criminal, with my, yes, she wants me for love, and her family are relatively safe, and others safe because my people are looking after them. But yeah, it was, and Anna shone, she was brilliant. But the whole show, it made Galway look amazing. Like, it was such a great experience. That festival is our carnival branding. It was, the weather was, even October, it was gorgeous weather. Galway was a big part of that, and Galway looked great. And you certainly had a great gig, Tom, and the one I saw from the TV. You were brilliant, Tom.
Oh, thanks for saying that, Karl. Thanks.
Yeah, let's look at the clip. Oh no, that's mine.
So this will go out on Friday morning. So it'll be today being the 12th. So I suppose it'll go out the 15th. What's coming up? Is it over the weekend? You have another carnival?
We're doing. Well, there's one going out tonight. Every Tuesday we're doing one. The next week there's a couple in the bag already. But on Saturday night we're part of the 24-hour World Comedy Festival. So with the Irish section.
Are you going to host that bit? It goes hour to hour, is it? And moves on to the next country.
So it starts Friday, 8 p.m. Irish time, I think, in America. And we're 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time from Galway. So we Phil Nichol, John Colleary, and Tanya Lee Davis. I forgot to say the criminally underrated John Colleary. That's his full title.
That is, yeah.
So it's going to be a phenomenal show. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be weird. I think it's my first proper, even though I'm hosting, bit of stand-up. I've already decided a couple of the jokes. I'm just going to pretend I'm talking to people and do my standard line. Where are you from? Norway? Drop the R. No way. Where are you from? Brazil? Where are you from? Brazil? Brazilian? We're in lockdown. No one's seen a Brazilian for years. So it's a bit of pretend scene at the start that'll get it going, and then a couple of gags or whatever like that. But yeah, I think there's less pressure as the MC to do it. I hope that's my usual tactic. Well, it was when I started, was that thing of you just jump out and see what happens, and then you jump out and see what happens, and then if it's going badly, you go, anyway, here's your first act.
Yeah, I've been dumped in a few of them. Although, to be fair, the one, the Laughter in the Air one went pretty well. It went far better than I was expecting. And signs were not good because I was going on first and I was running over. And I'll never forget the woman. This will tell you how TV, it gives you a small insight into how TV, we were just asking the question, how does it not translate? How can you not see it in front of you? She was completely devoid of the fact that an atmosphere was being created in the room at the time. And this woman with a head mic like this, she comes over, she says, can you, when your name is called, Tom, is it? I went, yeah, it's Tom, yeah. When your name is called, as if it's the fucking Dole office, can you hold for about 30 seconds? And I went, no. I can't fucking hold for 30 seconds. What, you're going to get them to clap for 30 seconds and he's going to hold his hand out as if he's shaking? She goes, well, yeah, we just need to strike something from the stage. I said, what? I said, it's just an additional mic stand and we need it cleared. I went, how about you have your fellow wait at the side of the stage and I'll book it off. And you can cut that bit out if you want, or go to one of your many cameras. But that in my head then had me thinking, oh, Jesus, here we go again. But thankfully, it didn't turn out that way. But the cutaways to you and Anna, and I can't believe that you were thinking that it was going to be somebody else. It had to be Karl of the Carnival, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, seeing as I own Galway. But yeah, no, it was great fun. And there was some of the bits, I think they left them in about, now it's a break. Look out for the hidden messages in the ads. And I was trying to do that. I was doing that for the crew more than for the show, and they left it in. I was like, oh, but there was a couple more of those that I went, oh God, I hope they don't leave them all in. I'll just look mental, you know. That I look like one of those guys with a black moustache and a grey.
Right, and then
you look like you're about going. I gotta go now because I gotta watch my Alex Jones.
I figure I'm living like a fucking militia member here in the wilderness of fucking Wicklow. I may as well look like one.
How many guns are in the house?
2.
You've gone below the 1 each in that house, so.
Yeah. Well, we have to take away the dog's one and the child's one. Apparently it's not during lockdown. It's not a good thing, like, you know. And Karl Spain, I consider you a mentor. I'd be very few people I would consider my peers and mentors, but you've been.
Oh God, look up what the word mentor means.
No, there's
moon tour. Is that what? Both words probably come from the same origin, really, when you think about it. They are.
I think we just discovered something there, Karl.
Yeah.
I think we just discovered.
I'm sure other people knew, but we've just discovered it's possibly.
Yeah. Educating. This is what Buckshot is all about. You'll get one snippet of education somewhere in the middle of it. The rest will be just fucking waffle between 2 grown men.
Yeah, these are the deleted scenes from QI.
Karl, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Tom. And I'm proud to be a mentor of someone who is so good.
Oh, stop it.
So proud. You made me so proud. Now, would you come and paint my fence? I'm Mr. Miyagi. Was it painted the fence or washing the fence?
Wash the car, painted the fence.
All right. Don't get them mixed up.
Thanks a million.
Take care, Tom.